it.
20 days in Mariupol, with some commentary by Joe, who is on mic now. Apparently, the mic was plugged in for Society of the Snow, but the power was not plugged into the device that the mic was plugged into. So it was not powered, and he was saying things during the last film.
I was
And what's
providing
crazy, I swear,
valuable
why
historical
did
context.
you were the one that asked about the pictures, and then somebody posted the pictures in chat.
Yeah.
So how did that happen?
They must have heard.
Maybe they
me
heard
from
you in the background.
Maybe I was loud enough. I
So
don't know.
people who had their volume like cranked
Oh,
could hear you. Maybe.
it was faint.
All
I
right.
guess.
Anyway, so if you're watching, sorry about that, everybody.
Some people could kind of hear me.
Okay, we could faintly hear you. Okay. So the first 7 seconds of my copy are a PBS logo, and then after that, it starts with the viewer discretion thing that's on the YouTube upload. So what you want to do if you're watching the free version on YouTube that you can access either by having an IP that they like, or by going to surfshark.deals/YMS, signing up for Surfshark VPN. You'll get a deal. I'll get a cut of the deal as well. And then you can access that content. It would be helpful for me. Anyway, if you're using that copy, the free copy on YouTube, and I think it's on what, Nat Geo? Or what, Frontline? PBS Frontline? I don't remember. There's a link to the YouTube thing. It's on the PBS Frontline official YouTube channel, full documentary. You'll notice there's a 7-second discrepancy. All you want to do is just start your copy when it says 7 seconds on my time code. Hello, fanboy. So you want to, I'm going to do a 3, 2, 1 countdown for my 0 seconds. But if you're watching, if yours doesn't have the PBS logo, and if you're watching on YouTube, then you're going to want to time it so that you start at 7 seconds. I did say surfshark.deals/YMS. Thank you. All right. Here we go, everybody. Ready, spaghetti? Capitalist lol. I'm going to, what is that statement? What is that statement? Have I claimed to be a socialist at any point? All right. Well, here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Is anybody here from Ukraine just by chance? I'm excited to see this though. This has been on my watch list for a while. You know, you can actually see Mariupol from Google Maps now, like as it stands today, which is really interesting and sobering to see. If you Google Map like Bakhmut, it still looks like pre-war Bakhmut, but not Mariupol. Okay, so he doesn't look like Azov. Are these guys police? That's a Russian tank. There's lots of stray dogs in Ukraine.
Yeah.
It's not good.
Yeah,
Okay,
you
so
gotta
this
hope they don't have like fucking thermal imaging.
this must be during the siege of Mariupol. Then, like they've already surrounded the city. Oh, okay. No, this is the first day of the war. That's very true. Mariupol's pretty close to the front line of the 2014 war. So
Oh. Oh, okay.
it's so amazing how there's all this drone footage of this stuff. Yeah, when this all started, I was convinced that World War III was going to start. I was like 99% sure. That's not true. But yeah, I guess don't tell her that
What's not true?
that they don't shoot civilians. They
Oh
totally
yeah.
do. They just shell like civilian targets indiscriminately. So
The fuck?
does anybody know if they're speaking Ukrainian or Russian?
Hmm.
Sounds like Ukrainian. Ukrainians in the east, a lot of them speak Russian.
Mm-hmm.
It's my understanding that Ukrainian and Russian are about as similar as like Spanish and Portuguese, probably less so.
Well, I heard that everyone in Ukraine's a Nazi and Russia has no gay people and it's cool.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah, exactly.
whoa, that's a great thing to keep in your dock. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Not many filmmakers would keep something like that.
I really hope that girl's okay.
Hmm?
I really hope that girl's okay.
We can only hope.
Just somebody that has an 8-year-old daughter.
Yeah. How old's your daughter now?
8.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Probably about roughly the same age as that girl.
Joe is 3 days younger than me.
Yeah, tape up all the glass. That's smart.
Yeah, Russia also saying they're doing this in self-defense, which is very
It's like the
fascinating.
American invasion of Iraq, but times 10. I find it really interesting that the Ukrainians wear camouflage and then they wear the blue or the yellow or the green tape to identify each other. Because it's like you're going to like an office, paintballing event or whatever, but I guess they figure it's better to not shoot our own guys by accident. AK-74s.
Is it 74 or 47?
There's both.
Oh shit.
The AK-74 is a newer version of the same gun. They use different sized ammunition though. One uses 545 and the other one uses I can't remember. Oh, I'm 100% with the Ukrainians. Fuck the Russians. This is going to be a very important primary source someday. Oh no. Oh no, that's the girl that I saw. Ugh. She's not gonna make it. This was a front page news story a couple years ago. That image has been burned in my mind for the last 2 years. Watching it actually happen and not just photographs is really hard. It hits a lot harder when you actually have kids, I think. Yeah, most of the footage on YouTube from the war is highly censored, that's for sure.
I think that there are companies and organizations that are whitelisted through a process that YouTube doesn't
Yeah.
give to the average user.
Like, yeah, if you watch Vice, I've watched some Vice docs on the Ukraine war, like the old war, 2014 one, and they show like actual dead people without
Yeah,
censoring. Like, yeah,
YouTube's like, it's fine if you're a company,
yeah.
just not an individual. We have different set of rules.
I mean, like the amount of trauma that these people have already suffered through the First and Second World War, and now they're just going through it all over again. Like the Ukraine was like on the forefront of both of those wars too. Yeah, Stalin's famine too. Although I will say, probably highly due to Stalin's famine, these people are definitely have a culture of pickling and jarring their food. So even when they're under occupation, a lot of them have managed to sustain themselves because they just have a culture of storing food now. Yeah, I would have rather have not seen that little girl again, honestly.
Sorry to hear. Two husbands.
You watch something fun after this? Yeah, that's a good idea. I mean, I think it's important to show this, but there's obviously going to be parts that are harder to watch
Oh,
for
we could watch
some
Dear
people than
Zachary
others.
after this.
Oh God, this is more depressing than that, honestly. But that could just be my bias. Yeah, if this helps you process stuff, then by all means, it definitely gives one perspective of their own life. That's for sure.
Should have been playing football. Fuck, that sucks. That sucks.
They must be under siege by this point, I think. It didn't take the Russians long to reach Mariupol.
That's terrible.
Pretty much everybody in Ukraine smokes. And honestly, after seeing all this, I'm not surprised. Oh god, I can't watch. Yeah, it's one thing to know about kids actually dying and another thing to actually see it, that's for sure. I could be wrong, but I feel like the safest place to stay at this point would probably be like in a hospital. I don't even
That's what they were saying.
I don't even think the Russians are that like malicious that they would intentionally bomb a hospital.
Little hamster.
Guinea pig.
Hamtaro.
Yeah, but bombing a hospital is definitely a war crime.
It's definitely what?
It's definitely a war crime to bomb a
Yeah.
hospital.
But I think it happens.
Unfortunately, the Russians are just going to come in and loot everything anyways.
Yeah, I don't know what sort of universe she thinks
Well, she probably
those
doesn't know
possessions.
yet,
I mean, yeah,
but
she's
unfortunately, the Russians fucking looted everything. From what I understand, the only thing that they've paid for was vodka. They looted everything else. So these must be Azov guys, because I don't think there was anyone else in the city at the time. That's very true. There's still so many people in like Russian occupied Ukraine that I don't think we have any information on like what's happened to them.
mm-hmm. We got another team buried.
Yeah, you're right. We probably don't know the extent of Russia's war crimes yet, but the mass graves in those liberated cities are definitely not a good sign for the rest of them. Oh no.
I often get anxiety thinking of and like disaster scenarios and the amount of people that just like freak the fuck out and trying to prevent that from happening gives me anxiety.
What do you mean?
People panic.
Well, yeah, of course. You get anxiety about being in a situation like that and being around a
Well,
bunch of people
knowing,
that are panicking.
knowing that I'm not one to panic,
Mm,
but that other people are, and that would just uh, make
that's a
me
good thing to know
unable
about
to,
yourself, though.
yeah.
At least. Is that
Like,
woman
if people
dead
start like
or
screaming around me, like I'm fucking out of there.
what?
If people start screaming around me,
Yeah,
just like shut up.
yeah. People definitely do stupid things when they panic. I personally don't think the Russians are malicious enough to intentionally bomb a hospital, but I do think that they're careless and stupid enough to just not care where they're aiming.
Hmm.
Well, I would like to believe that they're not. They just shell indiscriminately, from what I understand, so.
Hmm. A maternity hospital, even.
Yeah. I know they've also bombed schools and playgrounds and stuff, but they have artillery shells up the ass and they're just told to shell as much as they can. So I think they just don't care. They're just shelling everything they can. At this stage in the war, they have more shells than they know what to do with. So, yes, schools are technically protected under the Geneva Convention. But Russia likes its loopholes and they like to use their mercenaries like Wagner to get away with committing war crimes because then it's not technically Russian troops committing war crimes. So, something to think about. Russia doesn't have to take accountability if Wagner is the one committing war crimes. So, oh, was that a pregnant woman? Fuck. I don't know how they thought this war would last a week. Even the war in Iraq, the invasion of Iraq lasted at least a month. And that was a way less organized force, so defending it. At the very least, from a logical standpoint, the Russians at the very least should understand that their guys are also protected under the Geneva Convention, and any of their wounded guys that are picked up by the Ukrainians are going to be in the hospital as well. And that's just common sense.
Yeah, I don't know how that works. I find it funny that wars have rules to begin with.
It is funny.
That we consider things to be war crimes.
Shooting medics is a war crime.
Yeah.
But the Japanese in the Second World War blatantly disregarded that.
Yeah.
The Germans, however, did not, because they realized that American medics or British medics would treat their soldiers the same way they would treat their own. So it doesn't make sense to shoot somebody that's going to indiscriminately save anybody's life. So, oh yeah, rules are broken all the time. I mean, we could go down this rabbit hole for forever.
It's crazy how nonchalant he is about this.
Well, he could just be in shock too.
Yeah.
I'm in 2 university classes about war right now. Believe me, I go down this rabbit hole every week. Yes, I have a bachelor's degree in history. I specialize in 20th century warfare. So while the Ukrainian war has been hard to watch at times, it's also very fascinating for historians to be watching history unfold. So Thanks. Are they talking about a drone?
Maybe.
Oh, an airplane? Okay. I don't think I'm the Joe from the Fall Guys gameplay now. Not that I can recall.
I don't know if the no, yeah. Joe never played Fall
It
Guys.
might have been somebody with a similar sounding name. Oh, this is the Russian media, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah.
Fake news.
Oh, that's fun.
While there is a handful of radical, quote unquote, Nazis in Azov, there's, you know, I don't think, I don't think most of them are. And like him or hate him, they really gave it to the Russians in Mariupol. They made them pay for every inch at least. I don't think they surrendered until they were out of bullets, so I got to give them credit for that. They're from what I understand, Azov's like a radical militia. I think they've recently been integrated into the actual Ukrainian forces, but they do have like their own recruitment website and stuff like that, separate from the Ukrainian army. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Russia had more neo Nazis.
That sucks.
Mm.
Wow.
Fuck. Most deaths and injuries in this war from artillery and missiles, shrapnel related. That's very sad. They usually look like that when they come out, so hopefully he's okay. There you go.
Fucking spit, get some more. Hey!
It's a little nerve-wracking to see them look like that when they come out and they
Yeah.
don't breathe for the first few seconds.
Little white-faced gremlins.
Yeah. Oh. I hope that baby's gonna be okay. Good job, guys. You did a good job. Yeah, they oftentimes they do poop when they come out. And it looks like usually the first one or two poops looks like black sludge like that. So that baby looked pretty healthy, pretty normal. Yes, you're right. It's good to see some good things happening. So I guess they weren't her children though. Is she one of the nurses or? Babies be shitting always. Actually, sometimes babies can go up to 2 weeks without pooping.
What?
Yeah. When they're newborns. Yeah. Of course they did. Non-combatants shouldn't be targeted. I understand that shit happens in war and sometimes innocents get caught in the crossfire, but like the
It's almost like war is a
Ukrainians
bad idea.
the Ukrainians show a very high amount of restraint when it comes to targeting Russian combatants.
Also, they're
Like the
being
Ukrainians
invaded.
will make sure that the person they're targeting is indeed a Russian combatant before they shoot. I've heard stories about like Russians, military aged men with short haircuts coming down to the river and going for a swim, and the Ukrainians can't shoot them because they're not wearing uniforms. So they can't confirm that they're actually Russian combatants.
Hmm.
And the Russians know that, so they're literally mooning them. And they'll do things like if they need to do things out in the open, they'll like take their uniforms off and yeah.
Like pretend to be civilians.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what makes war just like it's. How do you avoid civilian deaths in war? Like you can't.
Exactly. Because if the Ukrainians did
Because
that, the Russians would just shoot them anyways. So Another Russian tank. I don't think the Ukrainians had any tanks in Mariupol at this time. They're all in Kiev protecting the president.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is like back at the film's cold open, I think.
Yeah. Also, like, what's gonna happen when Putin just dies of like old age?
Well, actually, we were discussing that in my class where we kind of thought that during COVID, Putin was kind of sitting in his isolation and going stir crazy and thinking, I hadn't done anything in my presidency. And that's one of the reasons why he was like, I'm going to invade Ukraine and restore the Soviet Union, and I'll go down in history as
Yeah.
a
There's like
great
some
leader.
people that like think he has cancer or something, maybe, but I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
That's speculation.
I really hope they're, as much as I don't hope they're shooting at Ukrainian combatants, I really hope they're not shooting at civilians. You know. You know, Gorbachev actually passed away recently, eh?
No.
He was the quote unquote peaceful leader of the Soviet Union, and Putin hated him, and that's why nobody
Yeah.
knows that he died, because Putin was like, no,
Suppress
he's
the
the one that
news.
dissolved the Soviet Union. So I think it was Gorbachev, at least. Yes, I'm sure Putin is going to run against himself in the election.
Election.
What's the most dangerous job in Russia? Opposition to the party leader.
Yeah.
Whether or not Russia wins this war, they're going to claim that they won. That much is for sure. I'll bet on that.
You'll bet on what?
Somebody wants to bet on who's going to win. I'm like, well, whether or not Russia actually wins, they're going to claim that they won anyways. So
Oh yeah.
when this is all over, we took out the 28 Nazis that were living in Ukraine, so we won. Yeah, I guess winning is all relative, isn't it? Oh, thank God you guys have more than just small arms. Go take out that fucking tank. Oh, Putin winning the election? Yeah. 99.9% chance he'll win. Yeah. Those aren't javelins that they're carrying. What are those? Or are they javelins? Yes, Putin is a former KGB agent. Yeah, Putin was president for like 10 years, and then he was prime minister for like 4 years, and he's been president again ever since. And as far as I know, I think prime minister of Russia is basically just the equivalent of like vice president of the United States. So, yeah, he's pretty much been in power for the last 2 decades. I'm really glad that they got this footage out because I imagine a lot of the other stuff was confiscated by the Russians. I actually don't even know how these guys got out because Russia took Mariupol. So they said earlier that he was able to send like brief pictures and
Yeah, like
videos
10-second
out, but
clips. I mean, if he survives and he has like a fucking like SD card,
yeah, just shove it up your butt. Do whatever you got to do to get
people
that.
have done crazy
Yeah,
things to get footage out.
exactly. I ain't judging. Get it. Get
You
that
like
info out there.
you'd hide it in your mouth.
Yeah, I think Belarus has had the same state leader for 30 odd years or something. You ever notice how like countries like North Korea and like China are always called like the Democratic People's Party of?
Oh, it's always a lie. Yeah,
Yeah.
just like United States.
Yeah.
You're not united.
Well,
It's a
that
very
just
divided country.
United States just means United Countries, right?
Yeah, not really united.
Like
Several different countries.
like that's why when like you and I are just as much American as like English people are Europeans.
Mm.
We live on the continent of America. We are Canadian citizens, but we are American uh, inhabitants. Yeah, whenever a party has the like word democratic at the start, don't believe it. Fuck, we're only on March 13th. I thought it was the Democratic People's Republic of China. They definitely have the word democratic in there somewhere. You can still watch this movie. It's on Netflix, I think, and YouTube. So,
It's free on YouTube.
but if you're trigger warning, if you're sensitive about bad things happening to kids, then I would say don't watch it. I can understand a lot of people getting mad if they're being filmed. I'm probably one of the exceptions since I am technically a historian at this point. If somebody was filming me while some heavy shit was going on, I would like to think that I would probably understand and be like, yes, this is going to be an important primary source document someday. So
Mm-hmm. Leave me alone.
leave me the fuck alone. If anybody doesn't know, that was my Harrison Ford impression.
Yeah.
I feel really bad about joking, but if I don't joke, I'll probably cry. So, oh, we've totally been living history since like COVID.
I mean, we're always living history.
Well, yeah, we are. But as far as like major world events are,
Yeah. The Trump presidency is pretty historic.
yeah.
So that's even pre-COVID.
I guess like even the Barack presidency, or at least the Barack election, was pretty historic too.
Yeah. Obama.
Can't we just get him back for a third term? Like, we did it before with Roosevelt. Why can't Obama just run one more time? Can't talk, I'm trying to survive. That's a very reasonable thing to say.
Can't talk, gotta poo. Yeah, I don't think this is on Netflix.
It's not? Oh, okay.
No.
I thought I saw it on Netflix at one point, but maybe I'm wrong. If I'd known it was going to be this heavy, I probably wouldn't have watched it, but I'm already committed, so. Oh no. Ugh. And this is why I could never be a medical care worker. Yeah, that's definitely a newborn. It's very traumatic to watch, and I wouldn't recommend this for everybody, but yeah, it definitely should win something. Not to mention the effort they went to risking their lives to get this out. Yeah, we don't have anything. We don't have anything. Slava Russia.
Yeah.
Exactly. Didn't he say his daughters were in Kharkiv? I really hope they're okay. So a major battle went down there too. So good. Okay, it was the same woman. Even if this doesn't win anything, it's going to be a very important document for decades to come. So of course, I'm not surprised. I imagine if your car was destroyed, you could probably hitch a ride with somebody else, hopefully. This country has suffered so much trauma in the last 100 years. It's definitely a movie that you probably should see, but I wouldn't recommend watching it more than once. It's one of those movies that you don't watch more than once, like The
Mhm.
Pianist.
I want to see The Pianist again.
I've seen it more than a couple times, but
I've
like
seen The Pianist
people
a
say
bunch.
it's like one of those movies that you watch once and you're like, yeah, that was good, but it's too heavy to watch again. So
Yeah, I give it a 7.
I don't know. What would you give that one for a doc?
7.
7?
Yeah.
You got to give him credit though for that extremely dangerous, precarious position that they went into.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, for a historian, I would probably give it a 10,
Mm-hmm.
just for its historical importance. So. Yeah, I don't think I could ever watch this movie again. No.
Yeah, it's
It's
tough.
too heavy. If I didn't have kids and I had that disconnect, then maybe, but yeah, I can't. Yeah, it's definitely not for everybody, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's heavy. Okay. It's a solid doc. I don't think I need to hang on to that.
What do you think? Do you think that one should win the Oscar for best doc?
No, but I think it will.
Which one do you think should win?
Hold on.
One that you've seen, or like
Well, there's two
potentially
that
one you
there's
haven't
two other
seen?
ones that I wouldn't say that about something I haven't seen. I don't think. So 1 second here.
What's your? You said there's 2 other ones.
Yeah.
What's the like synopsis for those ones?
One, I don't know how to not spoil
Well,
while
I'll probably
giving a
never watch it
synopsis.
anyways, but I guess for
I
the
mean, there's other
viewers,
people listening.
spoiler
So
alert.
four daughters was really good. And then fucking what's it called? I'm looking it up right now. The Eternal Memory I thought was really great.
What are they about though? Like, without spoilers, I guess. If you're worried about that.
Let's see if I can give a IMDb synopsis on Four Daughters. Between light and darkness stands Olfa, a Tunisian woman and the mother of 4 daughters. One day, her 2 older daughters disappear. Filmmaker Kauthar Benhania invites professional actresses to fill in their absence, and it's a kind of like hybrid documentary, meta kind of like retelling, but also showing the real people and also showing. Yeah, it's very
So it's got
interesting.
some like original creative elements to it.
Yeah,
In a
it's like
sense.
I'm judging not just the subject matter, but like the
Yeah.
filmmaking.
Well, yeah,
And so,
that's fair.
yeah, that's a one. And then the Eternal Memory, I thought was like just really emotionally good. It's about just a couple that are essentially documenting one of them deteriorating via Alzheimer's.
Oh, yeah, that sounds heavy.
Yeah, that one's really sad. And so there's 2 docs that I haven't seen. Bobby Wine
Eternal was
and
tough to
Tequila
watch.
Taiga.
Wasn't that a Pixar movie?
Eternal Memory, not
Oh, wait, no,
Elemental.
Elemental. That's the Pixar movie, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
Elemental is a Pixar movie.
okay. Yeah, me too. I think I'm gonna have to do something more upbeat now before I go to bed. That's for sure.
All right, I'll take a short break. I'll be back. I'll watch something else. Burb, everybody.
Bye, everybody. I think I'm gonna check out for the night. So.
Yee.